It's gonna be smoky and the bandit out here.
No trees, no shade,
yeah,
none of
buddy.
that. What's up, Doc?
Smoky and the bandit.
What's up with it?
Man, it's been some years.
How you good, baby?
Check out the gate, huh?
Shit, right, you been?
I been good, man.
Man, boy, run different. That boy run different as a coach.
When you get coach money, that's the job, though. That's the job, though. Coach
You see that, Jones?
He gets downhill. Makes it happen.
Congratulations, man.
Let me say what's up,
Hey,
man.
that's that coach job. Okay, I
Coach
see.
Lyons.
Hey, coach
What's up,
job.
man?
It's different.
All's good. Good to see you, boy.
Good to
He
see you.
drives slower. It's like it's
From
slower.
knuckling up to look at you,
Yeah,
boy. Look
man,
at
I
you.
know.
Good stuff. I love it.
Hits there.
Yeah, man.
Good to see y'all.
Do your thing,
Every
coach.
minute of it.
Don't
Nice
tell
to meet
him
you.
about the air conditioning.
There's an air conditioned tent.
Leave it. No,
Hey,
he's
guys.
not invited. He's
I am.
not invited.
I'm always invited to the air
Don't go in
conditioned
the air
tent.
conditioned tent. We tough.
I don't have to fake tough.
You don't gotta fake it. You gotta just be it.
My film says.
woke up tough.
My film says I'm tough. Standing out in the heat does not make me tougher.
That'd
Does
be
it?
tough media. Look at guys. Look at all these guys. They don't want no damn air conditioning.
I
Look
bet
at
they absolutely do want air conditioning.
No, they don't want no air conditioning. Don't go in that air
There's something on the
conditioning.
wall in the tent.
RC,
though.
don't go in that air conditioning.
But no, I'm just gonna see what's on the wall in the tent.
Man, you making us look so bad.
Oh, see, they got water.
Don't offer
I'm
him
gonna go
nothing.
read. I'm gonna go read the bottles.
He's a
Chan.
diva. Y'all got
Oh my God.
y'all got
buddy.
a hot tub in there.
Oh, this
y'all
is
got some
the life.
y'all got some Voss water.
Yeah. This is
Get
for me
your
right
hands
here.
off your goddamn
You
hips.
enjoy it out there. It's very, hey. I appreciate your toughness. I don't need to prove mine. I'm comfortable.
All right, man.
How you doing, man? Pleasure to meet you in person.
Thanks for coming in.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate
Thank you so
guys.
much.
Congratulations
Absolutely.
on all you guys are doing.
Man, thank
Pretty
you, man. I
cool. That's
appreciate
awesome.
it, man.
Really
Thank you.
cool. What's up, Freddie T? All right, buddy.
Oh, good.
Good to see you.
Strong as hell, man.
Great to see
All
you.
is good, man.
Yeah, all good. All good.
Keep
How are
them
you?
coming, man. Good, man.
Good.
Excited for you.
Congratulations on what you guys are doing. It's pretty cool.
We working,
really
man.
Cool.
It's a lot of
It's
fun.
awesome.
All
It's
positive
awesome.
stuff, trying to highlight these guys.
Yeah, no, it's awesome.
You know,
really cool.
yeah.
Just the platform.
You're enjoying the weather down here.
Yeah, man.
It's a
Hey,
big change
don't
from
bother me, so.
up north.
Don't bother me. So
Yeah.
I can deal with anything.
Man,
so.
look at you, man, running
This is
around.
better than the snow. I think
Right
this
here?
is better than cold to me.
I didn't mind the cold. I had my best games in the cold,
I didn't
RC.
mind anything. So.
Yeah, I had my best games in the cold.
Fred could always catch if he could use his chest.
I had hands, boy.
I'm joking, Fred.
I wasn't the best receiver out of the backfield, but I wasn't
We joking,
garbage.
Fred. We know
I
you were
would
sweet,
have
Fred.
bopped you up quick on the one-on-one underneath.
Nah.
No, here's the thing. You should have
I'd have
stayed
bopped both
open.
of y'all,
Because
though.
you are.
Nah.
Okay, now you're talking a lot. No, Fred.
I would have.
Fred, you were tough to tackle.
Stayed
but
inside
come
I
on.
out.
was running routes on our DBs.
Fred,
Nah,
okay.
Fred.
Goodbye to practice. We will see you later.
that's sweet. All right, now.
Practice.
This is nice.
This is hot.
This is nice
You're
and
really
hot.
sweating too.
I know.
I'm not sweating a lot.
All that sexy red melting right up off you.
Boy, I'm this caramel.
Man,
You're not
me-
that. You're not
boy,
caramel.
You
You're
put me
not
on
that
top
dark.
of vanilla ice cream.
It's gonna be disgusting because it's gonna be unbathed. Yes.
It might be a little
nice,
dirty
moist,
caramel.
Nobody-
baby white.
Nobody
There you
wants
go.
you. Nobody wants anything that you have on top of ice cream.
Why ain't y'all walking like me?
Because your booty soggy, ain't
I know,
it?
man.
Yeah,
This baby
that's
wipe
so
ass
wet.
I got.
Ella.
Shadow done came over our back.
I tell you what, I tell you what, when they get that much money, they just walk in whenever. What up, boy? How you doing, man? Good to see you, bro.
Big man, what's up with you? All's good?
What
All
up,
right
dog?
now. Lake City, Lake City.
there.
Lake City, Florida,
He got
man.
the,
Yes, sir.
the beads
Already
on,
know.
though.
Gotta
got the
keep the beans,
Kobe's
gotta
on.
keep the beans
It
on,
be the
fellas.
big, sexy ones. That's be the crazy thing. Y'all be that damn big and just walking with that swag. It kills me.
Nah, hey, man, they did
Gotta
the,
keep that swag now.
They were going to practice and they asked who had the best shoes and they said it was you.
Easily.
That's
There's no
unusual. What
competition,
size shoe
though.
you wear?
14.
That's unusual for a man in the 14 now, LT.
Nah, 13, 14, I can find some shoes easily.
See, that's the key right there. See them calves and the ankle?
In the ankle, huh?
That's why that boy so good, man.
He athletic now.
Boy.
He knows something, though.
Yeah.
He knows something.
Hey, that's how we're actually made that way, man. It's genetic that we have small ankles. It's just so unusual to see us with big ankles that y'all think that means he's athletic.
Nah, he got cankles. I done seen his leg. He got
Yeah,
a bad
killing-
knee.
yeah,
They be getting on you like that.
Yeah, they hate on, you know what I'm saying? If they ain't hating on you, ain't doing something right.
Hello.
Hold up, limitless. Take a stomach, got pinning it. I fought the head to witness it. Get my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling, get me up. On a mission, get me up. Knowing me, I got the key. Only vision I can trust. Limitless. Niggas send me camping in it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling got me up. On the mission got me up. Knowing me, I got the key.
Well, Laremy, man, welcome to the pivot, bro.
Nah, for sure.
You are our second offensive lineman ever.
Who's the
Andrew
first?
Whitworth
Okay.
was the first after they won the Super Bowl. He had retired, but after they won the Super Bowl in Los Angeles, obviously Chan, Freddie T's training camp tour, man. We appreciate you sitting down. I think we want to get right into where we are now. I think a lot of people understand pieces of your backstory. When you have what happened to you before the draft in 2016 happened, that becomes a lot of what people pay attention to.
Right.
But you're so much more than that. You're sitting here having negotiated the largest contract for a left tackle seemingly without an agent. We'll talk about that
Yeah, we
a
get into
little bit later. But man, when you're going through what you're going through on draft night, fall to 13 to the Dolphins, how could you ever envision getting yourself here, being a respected player in the league as you are, a 3-time Pro Bowler, and making or negotiating that contract to be the highest paid left tackle in ball?
Well, that was one of my biggest things after that happened at the draft. Funny story about the draft. Let me just give you a little backstory about that night. I think the 49ers had the 5th pick, and I think Chip Kelly was a coach in 2016. So I'm sitting there after everything happened, the gas mask came out, whatever, the text messages. I'm sitting there, me and Jimmy Sexton, I'm sitting there, and we get this call from the 49ers with the 5th pick. I'm like, yo, I'm glad they about to pick me up, they about to take me off the board. Jimmy told me, like, yo, Chip Kelly want to talk to you. So I get on the phone with Chip Kelly, and he straight to it. He's like, why would you do that to yourself? I'm like, it was a mistake. Like, somebody hacked my account. Like, that's an old video. Like, yo, listen, it won't happen again. Clean nose from here on out. We got silent for 5 minutes. Didn't say anything. And he was like, well, I hope this don't ruin your night. And hung up the phone. And hung up the phone.
So when you get on the phone, though, you thinking to yourself, this is Chip Kelly.
This is Chip Kelly.
If a head
I'm about to
coach
get
calling
dressed.
my
Yeah,
phone,
yeah.
I'm finna get off the board. And dude tells you, well, I hope it doesn't ruin your night. How do you feel after something like that happens, though?
It's crazy. It was crazy, man. But it was just motivation for me. Like, just to prove everybody wrong that, yo, listen, I'm a top athlete. I'm a top player in this draft, and I can get it done no matter what. I'm not gonna let this little hiccup, set me back whatsoever. And look what I'm doing now.
Walking in, I'm like, damn, especially as a running back, you want the big guys, that can play across the entire offensive front. And even going back to that night, 2016, I think I tweeted something, and then I had to delete it because of who we took.
Right.
But I wanted us, down in Jacksonville, when I say us,
Right.
we actually had the 5th pick that ended up being Jalen Ramsey.
Right, good pick.
And, Jalen was a seminal. I wanted us to get a lineman, but it didn't happen. What sort of motivation took place for you? In what sense, when you say you were motivated by not going that high? Because you were rated number 1 overall to the Titans. Then they traded back. What sort of motivation, entered your mind when everything kind of fell apart that night?
I got another story for you. I got stories for days. So I got another story for you. So I was supposed to be the number 1 overall pick, right? So I was in Tennessee when they traded that pick, right? So I was in Tennessee, like, they came down to Ole Miss, and they made me learn a whole bunch of plays, right? So I'm learning these plays, I'm getting them right before I go to take the visit. When I get to the visit, I'm on the board, drawing up these plays, killing these plays, right? So the head coach and the GM walk out, and the O-line coach just say, sit here, just talk to me for a little bit. So we're just talking, right? The head coach and the GM come back in, he was like, Laremy, I'm sorry to tell you that we just traded the 1st overall pick.
Wow.
So just all the teams, for me, from going from number 1, slided down all the way to 13, just all the teams that's overlooked me, it just made me want to go even harder.
Did you put those teams on the bulletin board as, guys that I gotta do my best against?
I just wanted to show the whole league.
Bruh, you was down in Miami. We done crossed paths before and all.
Yeah, for sure.
Never heard a bad thing about you. But for some reason, 10 minutes before the damn draft, somebody wanted to F you over. You ain't never get to the bottom of it.
Never got to the bottom of it. To this day, I don't know who it was.
But they got that video from somewhere. They got the text from somewhere. Like, there was a path of
It was
that
a path.
to get to
But
that.
Another story. I got stories for days. But I think my agent told me, like, whoever hacked my account, was trying to sell that video during the season. I don't know how they got the video, but they were trying to sell that video to like Barstool, to a whole bunch of like social media platforms just to air me out. And like none of the platforms would take the video, right? But somehow they hacked my account and they posted that video.
You know, you have something like that happen, and that's kind of that's the night the world is supposed to meet you.
Right.
Right, and it's a huge night. I think Robert goes 29th to Arizona. Tread goes to 23rd to the Vikings, maybe. You know, so it was a banner night for Ole Miss as well. Y'all are going to have 3 first-rounders, a top 10 pick, which should have been you. You know, you mentioned Tennessee. They draft Tyler Conklin, I think it was, at 8. And so it's like another slap in the face in that moment. But all you do, man, you get to the league, you work.
Right.
I guess they said 4 people signed off on it in Miami. It was the owner, then Greer. I think Mike Tannenbaum had something to do with Adam Gase, right? And so when you get there and now it's time to just play football, what was that like for you? Did you have a feeling of thinking people were looking at you to see what type of human you would be? And not only did you have to play well, but now I got to show you what type of professional I am.
Yes, I had to show up. Only thing that mattered to me was just like how I treat my teammates and how I treat the people that's close to me. That's the only thing that mattered to me, and people's gonna see over time. Just coming into that locker room, I had some good vets around me that made everything easy. I had Mike Pouncey, I had Brandon Albert, I had Cam Wade, I had Sue. They made everything easy. I mean, they was like, yo, they gonna forget about this. Mike Pouncey, favorite thing is to tell me like, yo, listen, you go out there and ball, they gonna forget about all this. You know what I mean? I look at, I'm balling, they forgetting about all this. So that was one of the biggest things I took from him when he told me that.
And from that point, so you become a good player there. 2019 hits. Listen, man, I'm with them all the time in Fort Lauderdale. They are Florida boys now. You're a Florida boy, you know.
Sure.
And it's like, hey, man, you going to Houston, right? And you going to Houston, and one of your quotes was, I ain't gonna lie, like, if they offered all that, I'd trade me too.
Absolutely.
when you look at what you were traded for, and just in that moment, I know it's always hard to leave somewhere like Miami because everybody says once you get there, that's where you want to live.
Right.
What was that experience like for you? It's like, I've shown you what type of player I am, what type of person I am, and still, me and Kenny Stills, we're going to Houston. What was that experience like?
That experience was crazy. It was actually funny that you said that because me and Greer had a talk before I went to Houston, got on the PJ and went to Houston. We had a talk, and we were sitting down in the office. He was like, listen, he was like, this is what I got for you. And it was a whole bunch of picks, and I was like, yo, listen, I understand that. You know, it's a business at the end of the day. Like, of course I was hurt. You know, I always wanted to be a Dolphin. You know, that's a team that took a chance on me and drafted me, so I always wanted to be a Dolphin. But, you know, Houston gave up 2 first-round picks, so, you know, I owe my loyalty here. And that's why I'm here doing the things.
It's crazy as a young dude was, I guess, the trouble or the pre-draft stuff and then getting traded. A lot of guys, you said, they're being their feelings. And for you to be that young and understand, oh, y'all getting all this? You know what I'm saying? Was the turmoil that you went through, did it make you see the business out of it more than that college year we love you get here, taking over as your parent? Did that make you see the big picture?
It did, but I also had some vets around me too. Like, they taught me the game at a young age. They were like, listen, don't take anything personal. This is business, right? So they're gonna make business moves. So don't take anything personal. And I think that was words from Brandon Albert at that time, because me and him was close when I was there. And he told me, like, don't take anything personal, like, whatever happens. Because I think that next year he got traded to Jacksonville, so I used to call him all the time. He was like, yo, this is a business. Like, 'cause I was hurt when he left. I didn't want to see him leave, and he was like, yo, it's a business, don't take anything personal. He said, you just gotta work. So that always been my mindset, it was just work.
I think on behalf of all the Dolphin fans, they should forever be grateful. My homie said you said you like to call it the gift that keeps on giving.
You know what
the
I mean?
gift that keeps on giving, and I think they've built a pretty good roster with those picks. But let's take it back a minute. You're a Lake City, Florida boy, and you're 50 minutes from Gainesville. And me and Channing, we're sitting here like that. The Gators could have definitely used you. How did Ole Miss convince your mom, or what did they do to get you out of the state of Florida to Mississippi?
Now, it depends on who you ask, Fred. When you ask, what did Ole Miss do?
Well,
to get him?
well,
And it
true.
also, I'll be honest, it also depends on when you ask him. Because you ask him right after the draft, and he goes, nah, I never took money. 45 minutes later, he says, okay. Yeah, some money exchange here. So it all depends on when you ask
Couple
LT
screenshots
what
here,
Ole
man.
Miss did.
So let me just tell my side of the story, man. So the guy who actually recruited me, his name is Chris Kiffin. He's actually on staff now. He's the linebacker coach. And when I tell you Coach Kiffin was persistent every day, like would text, would call, reach out to me every single day. It got to a point where he's annoying, so I text back. I'm like, yo, like, cool, like, how you doing? My name is such and such, right? And then he would just hit my line every single day. He was like, no matter, he was hitting my line every single day. We built a relationship. And then he told me, no matter what, he was like, wherever you take visits here, he said, just come take a visit on this day. I was like, all right, I give Ole Miss a visit, right? I get to Ole Miss, beautiful. I had a great time. You know, it was players up there, Robert Comdici, Laquan Treadwell, we had Evan Ingram, we had Quincy Adebayo, like we had Tony Connor. I can go on for days, like we had some dogs up there, right? So me, Laquan, and Robert, we sat in this circle, right? We was like, man, why would we go to Alabama? Why would we go to Georgia, to Florida's? And he said, we can just do it here and have a legacy behind us. And I took that to heart. I was like, yo, listen, if y'all commit, I'm gonna commit too. So it's a funny story. I actually committed when I went on that visit. I told my brother, I was like, bro, cause Ole Miss was the last visit, so we just came from the Alabama, we just came from the Georgias. Beautiful out there, the stadium is huge. So I get to Ole Miss, the stadium is small, right? So we walking on the field, me and my brother, and I told him, I was like, bro, I'm gonna come to Ole Miss. He looked at me, he said, are you crazy? He said, you gonna choose Ole Miss over Georgia and Alabama? I was like, bro, I just got a feeling like, I said, I think this is the right move, right? And of course, my mom came with me, of course, and they won and dined her. Her favorite thing at the time was Bluebell ice cream, the vanilla. Man, she get to her hotel room, it's ice cream all over the place. Ice cream all over the place. So, you know, they won her over with that. And plus, Coach Freeze did a good job too. He's a Christian man. And, you know, my mom's big on the Christian. And it sold it just like that. So when I was there, I actually, you know, committed silently and made it happen.
You know, I want to stay on your topic of your mother, Desiree. Mm-hmm. You recently, last offseason for Christmas, took care of 15 families, and it was single mothers. And you mentioned how much your mother did for you and your brother, how hard she worked and all of those things. Just talk a little bit about that relationship and why even to this day you do things like give back to single mothers and give back to those families based on what she did sacrificing for you.
She played a huge role in my life. You know, she was there with me every step of the way. And I always told her, like, when I was young, I was like, I'm gonna take care of you. Like, no matter what I do, I'm always take care of you. But what actually sparked the single moms things too was Warwick Dunn. Warwick Dunn used to do things for single moms, and she used to show me the articles like, "Ain't this so beautiful? Like, I want you to be in this position where you can take care of the single moms too." And I was like, "Mom, when I get in that position, I promise I'm gonna do it." So I made that promise, you know, and I had to live up to it, and I had to do it. So I always have something for single moms. You know, recently this offseason, I got a couple single moms. I think we got like 15 to 20 single moms, and we took them to dinner. They got their nails done, they got their hair done, makeup done, and then we had dinner. We had a blast. So I'm always keep that promise, you know, because my mom was there with me every step of the way.
Man, that's amazing. And when you think about what that means to the next person that sees Laremy Tunsil, you know, to say Warwick Dunn did something like that, and your mother always pointed that out to you and pointed you or pushed you in that direction to do that. There's somebody else that's going to get an opportunity to watch this or may read that article that says the same thing. Listen, Mom, whenever I'm in that position that Laremy Tunsil's in, I want to do the same thing based on what you've done for me. So I think that's awesome.
Hey, bro, I got to ask you with the, like y'all was just joking about with the money and the colleges and the recruiting and all. At Florida, I got under investigation. Somebody let me borrow a BMW.
Right.
Somebody let you borrow.
Man, listen, I had an old-ass Mitsubishi Diamante and wouldn't get out of third gear. So if I got to 28, if I hit 29, it was and I had a big recruit coming in that night. So I went and asked my homeboy, he was in class, he heard us talking about it in class, and the dude was like, hey, man, you can use my car. He's just a classmate.
Right.
He pulls up a brand new BMW X5 and drops it off to me. And I'm like, oh, that's cool, I'm gonna drive it. Drive around campus one day, now that NCAA all over me, I had to justify it, get the credit report of his daddy and all this stuff. And a couple other times when things happened too, where I was investigated I'm not supposed to have this.
Right.
I'm a hood dude from Atlanta. You ain't supposed to have this. You ain't supposed to be buying bottles in the club. And then I look at this NIL shit nowadays.
It's crazy, man.
It pisses me off that I had to go through all that, and now these boys making $10 million a year.
It's crazy.
When you look at that now, do you look at it like, Leave me the hell alone. Look what y'all doing for the young.
Exactly, man. They making some money now.
Yeah.
They making some money now. It was crazy. But when I was at Ole Miss, bro, we got investigated, bro. I at least got investigated by NCAA at least 6 times. At least 6 times. It was crazy, man. It was crazy. They actually, my junior year, my last year at Ole Miss, they actually they said they found something. They put something together and they found something, and I was suspended for 7 games.
Yeah.
And my first game back was against Myles Garrett.
Wow.
Myles Garrett, so I had to get my shit ready.
hey, fresh out the frying pan,
You know what I
man.
mean?
Yeah.
Going back again real quick, not specifically on the draft, but things that kind of evolve after that in terms of interviewing. You weren't doing a lot of interviews,
At all.
right? And eventually at some point, you got comfortable. You know, you allow people in an opportunity to start being yourself behind the camera. I was just outside during practice, spoke to someone. They said after the whole Brandon Cook tirade, when he demanded the trade, they took back the captain.
The seat, the patch,
right,
yeah.
right. And you stepped up, and you've been just a consummate pro and the leader. Could you tell us why was it necessary for you to take on that role?
I think that was the next step for me, is become a leader on this team, and I embraced that with open arms, and the guys embraced me with open arms. You know, I noticed like when I speak, everybody listen. And, you know, I appreciate that a lot. You know, the guys open me up with open arms, but just having that C, that C means a lot. Just having that patch right there on your chest, it means a lot to me. I don't know, man. It feels good. You know, just being the leader on this team.
You play an ugly position first off, though, right? you don't play like the glamour position. Your social media team was in here before, and they were like, "What's the hardest position?" Nobody ever says left tackle,
Right.
But it is.
It is.
Right? Like
Absolutely.
you're on the island the same way the corners are on the island. There's a reason that left tackles get paid what they do, but being a captain or being a leader is less about what you could do physically
Right.
and more about all the intangible things.
Absolutely.
When you juxtapose that or compare that to your draft night, the thought is, this is not that guy.
Right.
You have become the picture of stability here in a organization that has a lot of turnover.
Right.
You've gone, there was Bill O'Brien, you've seen David Culley,
Yep.
and then Lovie Smith. Now it seems in D'Amico, they've made that commitment to saying, okay, this is where we are going to be. And you're a huge part of that, signing your deal this offseason. When you look at this team for this season and the seasons to come, why should Houston Texans fans be excited about this being an opportunity to turn this organization around?
Just look at the guys we have in the room. First of all, let's talk about Nick Caserio. Nick Caserio did a good job this offseason by bringing some players that can play and put them on his team. So that's step one for sure. And just having D'Amico come in with unbelievable energy that he brought from San Fran, that's something that we needed. We needed a players coach. We needed somebody young, that's full of energy, and is consistent. You know, we needed a consistent head coach for the guys can follow and listen to. And he's been doing a great job. He's a leader. Every time he speaks, everybody listens. So, you know, big kudos to him for sure for doing that. But yeah, we got players in our locker room that can play, and that's something that we needed for a long time, you know.
And bro, talking about playing, because I'm a Dolphin fan. I played for him. I'm down there, I cover him. How in the hell you get here and just immediately start going to damn Pro Bowl after Pro Bowl after Pro Bowl? Bro, real talk, is it scheme? Is it like you talking about the people in the room? You was down there and you was doing your thing in Miami.
Right.
You wasn't just getting run over.
Right.
But you come down here and you become one of the best left tackles in football in the damn world.
Right.
What happened once that trade happened with
I think in 2019 we had a hell of a team. We had D4, we had Hop, we had JJ, we had Whitney Merciless. Like, we had players on this team that was already like getting the Pro Bowl nods. You know what I mean? So I feel like it made it easier for me, especially bucking for a guy like D4.
Looking at where this team is, and part of leading is being able to be trustworthy yourself, but also have people trust you. You know, you mentioned the suspension. There's obviously your ex-stepfather, Lindsey Miller. He was a part of that.
Lindsey Miller.
Someone you had to defend your mom
Right, for
against,
sure.
which is something, you know, when even thinking about having to deal with that as a son, to watch something like that happen to my mother, you did what everybody's supposed to do.
Right.
In my opinion. How have you learned to trust people when you've had the situation at the draft. You've had someone like Lindsey in your life, and it seems that when I'm trying to do good, when I'm trying to get up, you're pulling me back like a crab in the barrel.
Right.
To have the spirit you have now that is so giving, so open to being a leader inside this locker room.
Right. No, funny story about Lindsey. So every time my mom get like a new boyfriend, I always wanted to fight him. It's just like it was something, but it's just like something I always wanted to, like, you know, tussle with him or do something. And it's funny that I got a hold of Lindsey and that happened. But it's hard to trust people now, especially in the position that I'm in now. But you know, people gonna show their true colors at the end of the day, and that's what I learned. I learned to take it slow. You know, I used to dive straight into the relationship and try to be friends with them, but you know, I take it slow. You know, I listen to what they have to say because people eventually gonna show their true colors. So that's how I look at it.
Does that make it hard for you at this point to start to build those relationships? You know, because we've been around a lot, and they see, like, a lot of my friends, like, the group of people I had in Pittsburgh was a different group of humans.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, we still jam tight now. Like, when you see us get together, or if one of us have something, you would think we just left the locker room,
right,
when none of us have played the last 7, 8 years.
Right.
Some of us maybe more. Have you found it hard to build those relationships or those things that you're looking for? Because we live in an isolated world, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And you dealt with something that's extremely private, publicly, in a way that hopefully none of us ever have to do that. Now in your life, whether it's, you know, women, whether it's homeboys or whatever it is, has it been difficult for you to build lasting bonds?
I kind of don't look for the relationships that make sense. Like, I have a group of guys that I'm cool with, and I just stay in my circle. Like, and if a relationship happens, it happens over time. That's how I look at it. Like, if I wanted a relationship or if I want, like, a friendship, it had to happen over time. Like, I just can't dive straight into it. But I have this group of friends, I have this small circle, and that's the guys, you know, I'm cool with, I'm tight with.
With all the different adversities you've gone through in life, and to get you here at this point, is there anything you would do different? Like, looking back, change, and how have those things shaped you to the man that you are?
No, I wouldn't change anything. Wouldn't change anything at all. It just shaped me who I am today, and I appreciate that.
You know, that always seems like the good answer.
Right.
Right? Like we always sit back, you know, when you get through it, you know, like I dealt with some stuff, and they're like, hey, man, would you change that? No, it's made me who I am. But when I was in it, I was like, man, this junk sucks. You know what I mean? You know, you mentioned your mom. I know you're really close with your brother as well, especially just even the way you're talking about the way y'all take visits, how you guys are dealing with things. Let's get outside of you for a second, right? Because I know a lot of times, I don't really care about Ryan. You know what I mean? Like, Ryan just really wants to do what the hell he wants to do, and if people feel a certain way about it, I'm like, hey, that's on you.
Right.
But I do know how it affects my mother, or how it affects my wife, or how it affects my children, how it may affect them. When you're going through those things, especially whether it's draft night or at Ole Miss, how are the people closest to you handling that? Like, are you having to manage your emotions and their emotions when everything drops that night on draft night, which is supposed to be the best night of your life?
Nah, they actually was there for me every step of the way.
Really?
Every step of the way. They didn't feel away. They was like, listen, my mom was like, listen, I know this sucks, right? She was like, but it's gonna be okay. You know what I mean? She said, you're gonna get over it, and you're gonna learn from it, and you're gonna grow. And that's what I've done. You know, so, but they was there with me every step of the way. My little brother and my mom and my friends, they were there every step of the way. You know, I appreciate that.
Was it still as sweet when they called your name at 13?
For sure.
Really?
For sure. Adam Gates called me at 13. He was like, shit, I would've hit that gas mask with you. So I was like, listen, that's perfect.
Hey,
you know?
But
it looked like Gates hit that gas mask
That's Channing's favorite coach.
Hey,
Before he called that damn offense, he hit that gas mask.
Hey, yeah, before he
what
came,
the hell he was talking about.
Hey, before he came out for the Jets joint, he was in that hole like this.
Looking at the taco. He was watching that taco come around the screen. Laremy, you say you wouldn't change nothing. You missed out on millions. On draft night. I know you're correct. You just got a sack. We know it. It's on the internet.
Right.
To him.
But this last sack was a sack.
The other one too.
That was a baby sack.
3
for 66. That's the baby sack. Okay. I don't know damn kind of sack you got.
You don't, because I'm a very financially driven person.
Right.
We talk about it all the time. I played for money. I knew the exact amount of money I was gonna make every single week.
Right.
But did the money not motivate you? Because that would upset me knowing that I went from 2-1 to 13.
It did at one point, of course. Like I wanted to earn the most money that I can. Like it did at one point, but now it's okay.
Yeah,
No,
rookie
we know.
deal was.
We know.
You go from you ended up signing like a 4-year, $12 million at 13 to the Dolphins, where you probably could have signed 35
right?
plus mil to go earlier. But you're in year 8 now.
Have
you? Yeah.
Getting old. Getting up there.
Right, it goes fast. It goes fast. So now you're at the point where, at your position, you can probably play another 8, 9 years or so. But eventually, it comes to an end. Have you started thinking post-career in terms of entrepreneurial things, investing, et cetera, any of that stuff?
For sure, I'm glad y'all talked about this. So I have this, this company, if you want to call it. It's called Divine Tree. I don't know if y'all heard it. Divine Tree is like our creative umbrella. It's like a central hub that powers our pursuits in like sports, fashion, music, training, whatever you want to name it. And I actually want to invest in studios because my passion is music. Like I love music, so I always want to be around music when I'm done playing. So I want to invest in studios. I actually want to have like this. I want to have like this vinyl shop, and in the back is like this speakeasy. Like they have a bar in the speakeasy. They have this stage where local artists can come perform, or we can have like a little speakeasy night. Some people talk poetry. I want to start like a record label maybe. Like, I want to have my hands in a lot of pots as much as I can.
You have very small guy energy. And I say that in the nicest way possible, being a small human as it pertains to football players. It's like you always looked at offensive linemen as like the nasty, gritty sort of dudes, but that's not you. Like even in studying for this, like I see you suited and booted with the black turtleneck on, the chains, right? Like you, and when you talk about the speak easy, that's just such a smooth
guy,
laid back, sort of kickback type thing, music and all of those things as well. Other than speaking of what you're gonna try to do with Divine Tree, where do you find your time to relax now? Because it would seem that you would want to do those things and have some level of peace.
Right.
You come into the league and you're making headlines. You've continued to make headlines as you've gone throughout with the way that you play, and also some of the contracts you've been able to negotiate. How do you step away from it and find peace, though?
Once I leave this building, I get home and I relax, and that's my peaceful time. I just need time to myself, and I view it as my peace, as my time to just relax and unwind and think about everything that I need to think about.
You did the deal, and Rappaport breaks it, and everybody's like, okay, it's a great deal, the most guaranteed money for the position. You chill for a day, you chill on it, and then you go on Pat McAfee, and you're like, well, like to think Saint, right? It's kind of like a bombshell to the world, because in those situations, like his name wasn't necessarily a part of it until you let the world know that he was a trusted confidant. He was someone that was a business partner of yours. Explain a little bit about that relationship and how he has helped you do some of these monumental things you've done monetarily in the NFL.
Saint, he works with Lifeline. It's like a financial company. And, he did a great job with both contracts, actually. We met up in 2020. Yeah, 2020, top of 2020, we met there. And then we just hit it off from there. Of course, it took time to build that relationship, like I was saying earlier. It took time to build that relationship, but he was a guy, that taught me everything I need to know about the contracts, and it made it easier to negotiate these contracts. A funny thing about St. Omni, I actually just had to recently, just fire him, because we really wasn't seeing eye to eye on things, and we just had to go a different direction. But he taught me everything I need to know. He actually got a couple guys in the league that he works with too. He's doing a great job.
Yeah, I know Saint Omni. He was linked to Roquan Smith.
Yeah,
and his deal. Also, obviously yours. That is a new movement where guys are taking more control of of their careers, taking control of their contract negotiations. It's like, and I hate continuing to go back to the moment, but I want to keep making the point that you are so much more than that moment.
Absolutely.
And you've just continued to prove that as you've gone along. How badly do you want to win, though? Like Chan mentioned, all right, look, Pro Bowl after Pro Bowl after Pro Bowl since becoming the Texans, 2 record-setting deals, but this team hasn't sniffed a Super Bowl.
Exactly.
Right? That wasn't your position when you were in Miami.
Right.
How do we take it from individual success as a left tackle to team success? How badly do you want that ring?
I want to win bad, man. I gotta have a ring before I get out of this NFL. I gotta get one. Mandatory. I have to get a ring or a couple rings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I have to see the Texans holding up that trophy. You know what I mean? I have to envision that. You know, that's why we go out there every day and work our butt off just to reach that goal, you know?
Do you consider your career a success if your stellar play doesn't help a team win a Super Bowl?
If my stellar play don't help the team win a Super Bowl?
Yeah, like if you continue to make Pro Bowls and all pros, we've set with the Ken Griffeys and we've set with Hall of Fame all-time great players who don't have championships. And you kind of ask them afterwards and they all like, shit.
Barkley.
Barkley.
That's the first question everybody asks.
Yeah, you ask them afterwards and they're like, oh, you know, the individual play supersedes the championships once you're done.
Right.
But for you, is that championship, that's the one and only goal that has to happen?
I feel like that's the one and only goal for me because at any level, I didn't win a championship. So I have to win one now for my whole career to be a success. It's a success individually, like you said, but I have to get that ring because at any level, high school, Pop Warner, college, anything, I never won a championship.
You should have went to Alabama. That was his fault. His brother tried to tell him. Hey, Adam tried to tell him, and he went the other way. That's on him.
But it's crazy. It's crazy. 2000, I think it was my junior year at Ole Miss, 2014, 15. We actually was getting ready to go to the SEC championship if we'd beat Arkansas. Arkansas had the ball. I think they was in the red zone. I think they was on the 20. It was fourth and like 30 something, right? And they threw a pass and we tackled him, but he threw the ball back to Alex Collins and he ran and got the first down. Wow. And then they scored the next play and beat us.
Hey, bro, and speaking about this championship, what does an all-world left tackle say to a rookie quarterback? What is those conversations like?
Let's get this shit, bro. Let's get it done.
Yeah.
And he will. He will, trust. He will get it done. He got his mind, he got the right mindset.
Is that added pressure on you? Because most rookies, when they come in, the speed of the game, they have to get up to it.
Right.
So certain decision making, these things, they might need an extra split second to get the ball off, you know, get a big play downfield. How does that affect your game, or does it at all?
We got a good offensive line. In my eyes, we got Shaq Mason, we got Titus Howard, we got Keenan Green. We just drafted Juice, Suggs, and we got me. So we got a damn good O-line, and I feel like we'll give CJ some time to make some plays. And however long you need. We wouldn't be back there for 6 seconds, bro, do your thing. You know, just drop a dime, you know what I mean?
Will the Houston Texans, with all of the moves you've made in the offseason, you had an amazing draft night. You guys had, in my opinion, the best draft this past year. Will you guys win the AFC South?
Listen, we're gonna work our butt off to be in that position, for sure. I don't want to make no promises.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to be that guy that say, "Oh, we're gonna win the championship," but we're gonna work our butt off before we can put ourselves in a position to win that championship.
You know, this is usually Freddie T's question, but we've been moving around fast and we got to go. I would think I know the answer, but we're going to ask you, what is the biggest pivot in your life? What is that moment in your life that was so impactful, it's left a lasting impression on who Laremy Tunsil can be today?
The biggest pivot in my life? It would have to be that night. It had to be that night.
I know you said it motivated you. What did it teach you? Like, because you got to take things and learn from it and say, from this, I'm going to be better. What did you take from that moment that has allowed you to be a better person, player, whatever it is, going forward from that night?
I think before that moment happened that night, I was kind of moving a little reckless. You know, I was always like, I don't care, like, whatever. Like, I always brushed it off. And I was always moving any kind of way. You know what I mean? And when that night happened, I think it actually taught me, like, how to move properly. You know, how to keep my nose clean. You know, how to keep my head up and do things the right way.
Bruh, like, the reason you also have small man energy is because you tell great stories, and I think, like, this is what that's about. And that was a large part of having you on the show for us was this is about pivoting. This is about the things that we learn from fighting through adversity. Best of luck to you. Best of luck to the Houston Texans, man. Thank you for giving us your time.
Appreciate us.
Appreciate you, bro.
For sure.
Hey, he's like, I got a story. That's what we want, dog. That is what we want.
I need free drinks in the speakeasy.
I just had to wrap it up, man. Appreciate y'all, boys, man. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it.
Hold up, limitless. Take a stomach, got pin in it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling got me up. On the mission got me up. Knowing me, I got the key. Only vision I can trust. Limitless. Take a stomach, got pin in it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling got me up. On the mission got me up.